I feel, okay, well, I've gone about various of my events and everything. I've always tried to talk about it, but I think what happens is that in various of these events, maybe some part gets discussed because I really like to focus on the person who's participating and not try to talk about myself. But okay, what is the concept of the World Mediation Circle? The idea was that there are people out there who have the mediator mindset. And I also say the peacemaker mindset. And tell you how I was trying to distinguish it. Because there are people who help people resolve their disputes. But some of them just tell them to get together. Oh, and to sit together and do it. So those are my peacemakers. They're just getting them to sit together and do it.
Vikram ji, your voice is
Now, when I
not.
started
Yeah,
recording, it is
you're
not.
audible again. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So is my end? My end? Is it?
Yeah, yeah,
Or
it's working
okay.
now.
Okay. So
Just.
basically, the idea being that someone has a skill as a mediator, some people have the skill as a peacemaker to get people together. So we need both the categories
Hmm.
because getting people together is half the job done. That
Yeah.
okay, they want to resolve it, and everyone doesn't have that skill. So okay, if looking at it from the teacher's perspective, I felt that teachers will let's call them peacemakers for the moment, but for peacemakers in the community, they will of course go out and I mean whatever people have disputes, tell them they should resolve it, identify people with the mediator mindset in those communities. They're all there. The people know about them. Just ask around. So they identify the mediators. They know, of course, themselves, or they will ask people who are the people in dispute. So they will
Mm-hmm.
actually go and talk to them. Why don't you resolve
Mm-hmm.
it? Or sit
Right.
together. If you can't sit together, we have these mediators in our community. Why don't and
Mm-hmm.
they can coordinate that. And I'm
Yes.
looking at it from a revenue perspective that they can actually charge people to
Yeah.
coordinate this activity because finally teachers, I mean, I don't know how much time they actually have, but if they can use this time and earn money out of it, I
Mm-hmm.
feel it's a good thing for the community and for them also. So that's their work in the community. Now they are in the schools. Yeah,
Yes, no, I just was just adding, and I mean, in very rural areas and all, in fact, teachers are seen as, very educated
exactly,
and
respected, they're respected.
people with wisdom. They are
Yeah,
treated as people
exactly.
with wisdom. They are asked, कि अरे master ji को बुला लो. मतलब that is the kind of respect they are given in
Absolutely.
small hamlets.
Exactly. That's what I've been saying for so long, that we have a group of people who are respected in the communities. They're also in direct touch with children
Right.
in schools. So they create that environment in the school. They
Mhm.
should not be the ones, of course, in some way getting into it as, oh, I am telling you who your mediator is. And no,
Mhm.
they're creating that environment that you people, children, identify those children who help other children resolve their fights,
Mhm.
and in that process we'll of course, I mean, in the sense, when you have communication with the kids, they'll tell you those peacemakers and the mediators within the children also, because I've had conversations with children. They once you have that little extra conversation with them, they tell you, okay, this one actually tells them to sit together and resolve it. This
Mhm.
one actually sits with them and has conversations with them and discusses it with them and resolve it. So both the categories are available there. So these
Mhm.
children, I mean, for the look, in that also the teachers, some of them will have this very authority kind of thing that, okay, we are going to tell you what to do. That will be
Mhm.
an issue, because the point is that if you're developing a culture of mediation, you are telling children that there is no authority figure telling you. You're doing it because you want to resolve it.
Mhm.
You are identifying your mediator. That's the way mediation has to be. That's the way it has to
Right.
develop. There is no, like we have in the court system, that the court is sending you for mediation. Same way for the teachers, it'll become the same authority figure. The teacher
Right.
is saying, okay, try mediation. So that we have to be very careful when we talk to these teachers. Look, you don't have to do that part. Just tell them to identify those children, and in the school they are identified as mediators, because also we have to value them. The
Mhm.
school should say, yes, we have these mediate people with the children with the mediator mindset, give them
Mhm.
some maybe identification as separate,
Mhm.
maybe put the list out on the board or whatever, because you
Mhm.
have these head boys and the prefects and all these things. Authority figures are given all the recognition, but this category of people, no one even talks about them. So we have to bring that out, and that's how the culture of mediation develops. I'm not saying, look, when we talk about the country of course, huge. Even in a small community, once it starts with the children, then they go home. They tell them if there is a fight happening, they tell them, why don't you sit together? So they'll bring it to take from there. Okay, this is a kind of environment being created. So in their community, in their families, they'll also talk about it. So,
Right.
so that's kind of spreads from the children and to the children. All that has to happen. So this is, of course, what we put into place. So
Right.
we've identified these people because there's no use even promoting mediation if you don't have mediators. And it's not going to come from this entire training. We'll come to your school, we will train these children. It's not, you don't create mediators by that. And
Mhm.
that's what we need. Anything else that you talk about, that we'll train you, I will tell you about how to talk to someone else. I think that is available to them today. Chat GPT or GPT can actually do it for them. I've had those
Mhm.
in my sessions. I've actually done that. You tell chat GPT to be a mediator, they'll do a good job. But
Yeah.
these children who bring that human touch,
Mhm.
those children and people in the community who have that mindset have to be brought out.
Mhm.
So once you put that
Mhm.
into place, and of course the environment spreads and people actually go to them. And I am saying a gift or a fee for the in the community mediators, you pay them because they're actually helping you resolve something which could have escalated and gone into court and you would have paid lawyers for years. They're helping you resolve it, so value them. And I mean, I feel that if you, I don't know how they want to do it. It's up to the mediator and them. That's between them. I'm not going to get into what someone's need in terms of fee is, whatever they do. But at least someone can get paid. And if they get paid, they can look at it from not just the people around them, because the word spreads. These names go out in the area, so anyone has a dispute, the first responder should be a mediator rather than a lawyer. The whole idea
Mhm.
is to have that kind of a database available for people. Because how do I tell them
Mhm.
that the first attempt should be mediation when the mediators are not there? What is the use of
Mhm.
telling them that? So once you have that in the community, a database available, immediately if you have a dispute, call them. In terms of the police also, I mean, there is one particular I mean, so think of it a district in the US. They've done that. The first responder is going to be a mediator. So the police has worked out with a community mediation center. So they will actually get the mediator in. So those kind of things will happen when the mediator is available. No use
Mhm.
telling the police also that okay, you while if some complaint comes, which is something which can be sorted out between them, why don't you tell them, you tell a mediator to go there? How do you tell them when the mediator is not there? There is, I'm saying there's no use saying, okay, 40-hour factory, we'll make a mediator, we'll send them out. Not going to work. So bringing those people out. So now you put that culture in place. You have the mediator, first responder, first person to go to that layer. Now, going forward, this these circles that I'm talking about, is a community within a community of people who want to resolve disputes amicably. You can't force people to. If they don't want this system, they don't. They want to go to courts. That's look, that's their preference. I mean, I feel that over time, if they see good things happening, people will come into it. But we don't. Idea is not to take the entire community together. No, there is not no such need also, because to convince someone, no, you should do it by itself will take too long. Why not instead actually, if those people who have the mindset, who want to resolve things amicably, let them do it. Once
Mhm.
something gets resolved by people whom we know have that mindset, those mediators in the community, when they're doing it, they'll do a good job, so that word will spread. That word is a better word to spread rather than going out and giving all the benefits of mediation, damn good thing, it helps and everything. If you don't have the people to do it
Mhm.
and good success stories are not there, how do you do that? So
Right.
once that happens, then people come, more people want to come into it, and of course further identification will happen, and that'll grow as it goes along. So you've got this community within a community. Now this community actually these are people who can sit together and actually have conversations. They can actually look at things from an objective perspective to resolve them. So now this
Mhm.
was personal disputes, now moves into disputes within the community on a larger level within the community. Then with the
Mhm.
community, say with the government, there are issues there. Now you have people available who can come in and understand things, look at creative solutions, just the basics, what should have always happened, attempt of consensus building, all that can happen here. So you have this whole group of people available. On the other side, what do we have? Politics, advocacy, activism. That's on the other side. So this as an option, once gets these people come in and are used, even those people with the mediator mindset, and as a community as a whole, when they come in and things can get resolved in this manner, that word spreads that
Extremely
yes,
sorry.
no issue at all.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
please continue.
So these people, this community develops and called in whenever there's an issue on a local level, state level. I mean, as we grow, all that is going to happen at the state level, also the national level, everything. So these groups of people are available to actually come in for that discussion. So they
Mhm.
resolve. Going forward beyond that, the I mean, of course, the one discussion I've had in my mediators conference also, mediators as leaders. So the people who have that mindset from those communities should then maybe lead the community in whatever way. I mean, whether they want to get into politics or not, I mean, that's up to them. That politics part of it, whether you need politics by itself or not, how that works. Because in that Indigenous Peoples and Mediation symposium that I did, there was someone from Nepal, from the Tharu community in Nepal, because he's now in Thailand. He's working for some NGO there. But he was saying in our community, all through the years, everything was by consensus. Our leaders were also chosen by consensus. Then, as things happened, when politics came in, political parties started supporting people for being the leader of that community. Immediate rift in the community. So politics can actually do that. So that aspect of it, how it has to move forward, is for them to decide. I mean, I'm not going to say that okay, oh, it has to be consensus building, and you have to. Then the whole concept of how politics is in structured by itself will have to be relooked, which can be relooked. There's no problem with that, but much ahead, much ahead. Let that happen. Let's get these people out. Let's see them actually helping people resolve things. Let that word spread. That trust in them. Their respect happens. So now the larger picture there.
Yes.
So that's the
Yes,
larger
very
picture.
much.
So now we have to start at the base level. We
Mhm.
know where we are going. So at least that's why the larger picture. We know we're going
Mhm.
there. And look, this thing happens, of course, like I said, national level. Same thing at the global level. Everything starts at the grassroots, because once that environment gets created and you come with that mindset wherever you are, okay, let's forget the global part of it. Wherever you are, you're working in an organization. When you
Mhm.
come into that organization and you have that mindset, issues that are happening in your workplace, you will look at them resolving in an amicable manner. Which,
Mhm.
you being part of the education department, and you saw so much litigation happening there. But were there ways, if those people had that mediation mindset within the department, could a lot of things be handled just by that little basic communication or understanding itself? Could it have happened? Maybe. I mean, I'm sure. So I think if someone with that mindset from, I mean, people, children in school are the ones who are going into various places, be it in government, in businesses, in organizations. I mean, that's where they come from. So if
Mhm.
the culture of mediation gets developed in the schools and the community around them, they have that. It's a different mindset. I mean, look, it has to be experienced. I mean, I'm not saying that it can be easily be told to people what that mindset is, because being adversarial is something which comes from within for people. So to
Right.
tell a person who has that thing, oh, how do we resolve? Oh, let's go to a lawyer, let's go to court.
Mhm.
To change that into, no, yeah, let's sit and understand. Come, let's have a conversation. Is something which
Mhm.
is a mindset. So if you start from there and you send these children out into organizations and government and business and everything, they'll take that there and they'll help. I mean, a lot of things get resolved at the first stage itself
Mhm.
by basic communication, and they will
Mhm.
reach out. And whenever there's a dispute, say you're working in an organization, you have a supplier, you have a dispute with a supplier, you'll say, come sit together, let's understand what your issues are. Look, the humanistic
Mhm.
approach, the idea of heart soul spirituality, which I keep talking about, those are things we have to develop within communities in general.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that is a very important part of that dispute resolution process for me. So that human touch, the humanistic part, because I'm saying on the other end, even the mediation part of it, without that, can be done by
Mhm.
ChatGPT. ChatGPT can be a mediator if you don't.
Mhm.
I mean, that human touch part of it, if you look at the all these 40 hour factories that you have making mediators,
Mhm.
they will tell you how to show empathy. I think ChatGPT can tell you how to show empathy. It's not a problem. It'll tell you do this, do that, talk like this, say these words, whatever. So that's a programmed approach. But the those people who have that mindset, who are trusted in communities, and even these children in school, they have a certain energy that they bring with them, and that by itself helps a lot in terms of the let's call it, I don't know, words, everyone has different words, aura, some people will call aura, whatever. I mean, you'll have various words for it, but people bring something with them, that's for sure, that energy or whatever you would call it. So that presence itself sometimes helps. So now, larger picture, yes. Now, Palak, please tell me, how do you think we should take it forward? What are we going to do?
Right. So I think when you were narrating, or basically you were picturing the vision, I was just imagining how things can go, or what things can we do, like what will work the best in such situations, because I have also have had my experiences in terms of bringing not similar interventions, but interventions where we are looking for a very ground level in strategies, and some models where we can utilize the beneficiaries on the ground. But with when we go through the department, of course they have their own challenges and priorities set in terms of what they want to bring to the ground. Teachers are overworked, and they have a different kind of understanding. When we bring anything, they think of it as a campaign. They don't think of it as a lifestyle or something that has to be a part of it. Very naturally it has to be there. They think everything they see in a campaign mode, so it becomes a logistical challenge for them. How no they have I mean they have their own
Yeah, yeah,
parameters to look into it. What I feel best when we are taking something like this is having like a proof of concept, like not going from top to bottom, or bringing the department in it and saying ki we have to do this in thousands schools, and we have to create mindset, something that they will may not be understanding. Because things that have happened in the west, although they were already there in India, these concepts and everything have already been there, but now we are taking it again from the west. So social and emotional learning was already there in our curriculums. It was a part of our education. But now again, these school education department in the ministry, now they're again going to the west. No, Emory University has come up with some seal, that is social and emotional learning. Now they're bringing it up here, so it was already a part of our education. So that is the challenge we are facing now, that these concepts are getting packaged from outside and coming into our world, something that we already had. So what I feel is, if we go to the department, then, or if we go to some higher authorities, they ask, "Ari, what is this? इसका क्या मतलब है? ये कहाँ से आया है? आप बताओ where it is, कहाँ लिखा है ये mediator mindset क्या होता है? You tell us what it is." Very complicated. Rather, if we take up some actual champions on ground who
absolutely.
genuinely believe in this concept,
But
or
yeah,
who
but just
actually
one school. But I'm saying even at that one school that we pick up, forget everyone
exactly,
else. If we are going
exactly,
directly to one school and we are
right.
telling them that, I mean, find the right person. Look, what I
And
was telling you earlier
creating
that
that human stories, a human library of stories,
yeah,
ki,
that's exactly,
with
exactly. So I mean, when
that,
I
I
was at,
think will be
look,
more
why I was looking
impactful.
at teachers was I told you, na, the respect of teachers in communities and of
Yes,
course in this with the school. If we get the right teacher, let's just forget teachers. We get
right,
the right teacher who understands, is respected in their community
right,
also, and has that kind of a relationship with children where it's not the
right,
authority figure, but
right.
someone who's actually going to talk to them on a different level altogether, on
Yes,
a I mean a one to one on a different level. So if we can get that one teacher, forget everyone else. Okay, that one
right.
teacher, we attempt it in one school, whichever school the teacher is from, and just that communication is going out.
Yeah,
The packaging that you're talking about is a fair for me, that this packaging will come to these education department also. Peer mediation packaging has been created, which is going to come to schools saying we are
yeah,
going to train your children. It's going
yes,
to happen. Someone will get into a tie-up for whatever reasons, vested
yes,
interest or whatever. The vested interests are also going to come into the picture, and they'll spread it out. Okay, this package has come. Now it has to
hmm,
go to all schools. So,
right,
and we are going to make mediators in the school.
right,
That
right.
making of mediator, this 40-hour factory problem that I've been talking about, that'll be very easy to put out. What is going to happen is,
Yes,
one, we are going to say, oh, yes, we are developing this but actually on the ground, is it going to actually help in bringing out the right people? It's so those are issues. So now you're nodding your head or moving your head has told gives me
Because yeah, I mean, this again I'm saying, right? Because obviously, quantitatively we can definitely show that okay, we have covered 1,000 schools, we have made 1 lakh mediators, and I mean, numbers can just make everyone happy. But the reality, the actual quality stories, uh, that is something
yeah,
that probably
because
will not come from the ground.
because what I've been saying for so long is that word, we are not married to the word. Definitely. Because in Madhya Pradesh, you might use another word because the act that
Yes.
we had, which of course today that new act has come into force, but conciliation, that act translated into Hindi was Sulh. I
Hmm.
haven't seen this one in Hindi, but I would assume it is called Madhyastha. I will have to see whether Sulh word is still used because conciliation was translated as Sulh, which was
Yeah,
a which is a
but arbitration is madhyasthata,
but that
right?
madhyast and madhyastha, and that was how they distinguish. We will have a look at it right now.
Okay,
But
okay.
Sulh was a word that we had for conciliation. So that is
Hmm.
something that people are familiar with.
Okay.
So that is a word that could have gone around. Because
Hmm.
definitely, and the law supported that word, and you had that. So definitely today we'll have to look at the translation of
Hmm.
the Mediation Act, what word they use, which we'll do right now. So, but the point is that we have something which is a process word attached to the process. We are not married to that word, but that process itself, going out and telling people, makes no sense to them also. They think some theoretical thing you're bringing. Instead, when I've been saying, and I'm doing it also, talk to the even school children or otherwise in communities, that identify those people who have that mediator mindset and are helping you
Hmm.
already.
Hmm.
What did this person do? Just ask them that question. They start narrating it, and they will tell you everything about mediation, exactly
Hmm.
what happened, the process, what they did is mediation. Then you tell them this process, what they did, how they went about helping you resolve it is called mediation. So you go reverse. So they
Yeah.
understand because of that individual.
Hmm.
That is what that connection has to be, because the person whom they have that connection with, as the person with the mediator mindset, that person, that trust and everything goes with it. So you're saying what this person does, and you identifying that person as your mediator is what is required.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea. So they
Hmm.
connect with the process, they connect with the mediator, the qualities of a mediator, everything theoretically you could have told them, they already
Hmm.
know. So we're just telling them that you actually know all this, you have these people around you. So why don't you, whenever you have, there is some fight that you see within your school, why
Hmm.
don't you have tell those people to get this person into
Hmm.
the picture? And
Hmm.
of course, endorsement by school can happen by saying, okay, these are mediators that people, the
Hmm.
children have identified, and with different classes with the age group also might be different ones. Whoever's comfortable with whoever, they can go to them.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that they just the fact that the pictures are on the notice board and the children have said yes, this person helps them, they get valued. Idea is finally to value mediators. I mean, if we on a long-term basis want a whole option for
Hmm.
people to resolve their disputes, they need to
Hmm.
value them. So they value them in the school. I'm not saying the children have to pay if they, but give them a gift. Children can give the person a gift. Oh, you helped me resolve this fight. I want to
Hmm.
have from my house. I've got this cake. Please, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just the fact that you are valuing the person. It could be a gift. In the community part of it, definitely a fee can be negotiated between the people because the person is bringing value. To start with, yes, it
Hmm.
can be okay, based on the aspect of on settlement you want to pay me, or the value that I have added through the process, whatever, pay me. So they should start looking at it as an income, because we need these people out there doing it on a full time basis. That's in the numbers. If you, I mean, whether there is any statistics available as such, because such a broad statistic was created from, there was a Agami Niti Ayog report which said
Hmm.
3% to 25% of all the disputes go into courts. I mean, that's huge difference.
Hmm.
3%, 25%.
Yeah.
No one has any statistics on this
That
really.
range, yeah.
It's a little too much of a range. But I, of course, have to look at it for the worst case scenario, 3%, which
Hmm.
means, of course, if you look at 18 million matters going into court every year, which is nothing for a country like ours,
Hmm.
going there. So there might be 400 million matter disputes out there, which I have also tried to connect with the situation in the US to get numbers that
Hmm.
300 million population, 100 million matters go into courts. So
Hmm.
this ratio also works out with our population. So if there are
Yeah.
400 million matters out there, disputes out there, you need the numbers. And these numbers are
Hmm.
only going to come from people who have that mindset identified and the process being used with the right people. There
Hmm.
will definitely be this whole the lawyer lobby, which of course will not let you sit together. So how do we create a situation that people don't call a lawyer? Because once a lawyer is called in and a notice goes out, that's the end of a relationship. I mean,
Hmm.
this is why I face this issue, because I keep telling people, why don't you attempt it? And they tell me, oh, the lawyer sent us a notice and they've made all these kinds of allegations. How do we sit with this person? So it's not the person, it's the lawyer who did this. So how do you differentiate that? Okay, this is the lawyer's
Hmm.
thing and this is the person behind it who doesn't even know what he's been given that advice. Okay, we need to put all this down in a notice. So that first approach or first connection with that mediator will happen when we create that database available to everyone to access. So it could be area wise, it could be you like someone's picture, you have a video of the person, you like this person on the video, whatever your criteria of choosing the person, it's yours. Because finally you have to trust the person. So we put it all out and it builds up right now. Like I said, from that notice board in the school by itself is also a database being created
Hmm.
that goes into, of course, as they go further up, they'll be part of the larger database which comes up as part of the World Mediation Circle. But same thing with the communities. Right now that circulation might be only required in the community. We don't need to go to much I mean, more than that right now maybe. But as things develop and some of them want to do matters which are beyond their community, want to do further, and this is where that skill development part of it, we create a skill development project which I've been putting together. So they will give them access to the best, so that this colonization of mediation which is happening, where
Hmm.
people are told that when you go to this 40-hour factory, then you become a mediator. Otherwise, you're
Hmm.
not. So the person
Hmm.
who is trusted in the community, who people are using already, is shown as a second-class citizen.
Yeah.
This person who we made is
Vikramji, your voice is still.
this on my end? Is it on my end?
Yeah, it seems because happened the
Where
second time. Now it's you are audible now.
where should would the problem be? Let me see. But this has never happened. Yeah, things are quite good on my end of internet connectivity. But okay, maybe. Yeah. So what I say is that we need to at least tell people that these are people whom you value. This
Hmm.
mediation act coming into force is going to create more of a problem because they've created these institutions, training institutions, this whole certification program. Okay, you have to do this, then you'll get work. Work has not come to people all over the world. It hasn't come to people. I mean, there was, of course, I don't want to get into that whole thing, what is what Mr. Panchu is doing with the mediation center that that controversy that's happening. But in that, he was in the one little I think there was a article that he wrote that I've been on
Yeah.
that the Singapore that panel of that mediation center. No work has come from me to me of that. That's the thing. These panels have been created, but work doesn't happen. So
Yeah.
institutions are going to sell this concept that once you get this certification, you'll get work and all that will happen. So class distinction is going to start getting created. So the person who actually delivers is not going to be considered less of a human being, but this part that we are certifying the person is colonization
Yeah.
in another way. That's the way it was, the way the legal system developed. My court, my lawyer, you go to them. That's how dispute resolution has to be. Now you'll create this other class of people, the mediators that we certify. So up till the time that, because right now those people will be more into maybe to
Right.
create those what they have, these 40-hour factories, so do they even have those? So that part of it, I don't think the government even got into when they got these institutions in place. They don't know who's going to be
Yeah.
your trainer. I mean, how are you saying this person can actually train someone to be a mediator? All that discussion, I'm sure,
Mhm.
did not happen, but vested interest came in, so that got developed. But that we can't fight. That's a whole, I mean, lobby which worked and created this. But we today have the act which says anyone can be appointed as a mediator. You can appoint
Yeah.
anyone as a mediator. So luckily
Yes.
that has not got affected. So we we that part of it we can highlight that you can go to anyone, and the best part is that settlement agreement is as good as a court
Right.
decree. So we can sell that concept there. So that's how, I mean,
Right.
I'm looking at developing,
Right.
but with your thoughts, which your practical thoughts, working on the ground thoughts, you are going to give it some more meat. Yes.
Yes. No, I think that's absolutely. I think that we can hit the nail there. That the Mediation Act, although with all the issues that it has, at least the one good thing is that it gives the freedom to parties to decide on who they want, irrespective of the accreditations and all the training and whatever we are seeing right now, the issues. So that is a great thing. And then there is also community mediation, community mediators. Uh, Even a single clause there has entered. I don't know how much it will
Yeah.
be used.
That part,
We
that's
have
a big
not
issue.
seen enough in.
That's
Yeah,
no,
but at
look, that's the
least
colonization that the government came into the picture. The SDM is going to
hmm,
appoint
it
some
will
people.
never happen.
So yeah,
No,
so
it
that's
is
a
not going to happen the way government shows. I mean, assumes that it will. It will never happen in that sense. But yes, this idea that important people with that mediator mindset also has. I mean, they have this avenue to explore, not just for as a profession. I mean, profession, all right, it's good if they get some money out of it, it's great. But also if they enjoy this human skill, this people skill, if they want to engage in it. And there are a lot of people who love it. I mean, at least in our Hindi belts, I don't know about others, but yeah, the people love to do panchayati and love to sit
panchayat.
in
Don't
other
use
people's business.
this.
Other
No,
people, I mean,
no,
they want
this
to
no.
resolve
What
other
you said
people's
is
business.
actually that's exactly where actually there's a problem with that word, because it has been connected with mediation by people, that the panchayat, but of course decision making is a problem there. So we
I'm
that
just trying to like
no, no, you
use it very
hit you
colloquially.
very
I know,
good
I mean,
thing.
of course, we're not.
No, no, very good thing that you said, because we need to clarify this, that
Yeah,
the problem today is even the Supreme Court put out a training manual, mediation training manual, and in that it says that the panchayat does mediation. Now you are, of course, a person who's worked on. I mean, you've connected with the groundwork. You ask them, ask a person in the village, what does a panchayat do? Does it do mediation or does it give a decision? Panchayat
hmm,
ka faisla. That's how the movies have also shown
obviously.
it. So they are connected with decision making. Now, if you tell someone that mediation or a mediator is someone who does what the panchayat does, in some way even connecting that word with it, then say, where someone else is going to take a decision for me. Who? I mean, why should I get someone else? I'll go to court instead. So
But I
this
think, Vikramji, there is another. I mean, I feel that there is, when we say that it's completely up to the parties to decide, and you know, especially in India, I mean, sometimes the parties are not in that position to have that equal kind of a bargain. And actually, I've seen people who actually look for very authoritative people to decide their issues, or not decide, just to sit on their issues. Someone who can, handle the situation and give decisions. I mean, people don't feel confident that they will be able to maneuver the other party to have their way in these kind of situations. So
no,
they
this
look
is
for authority figures in
no,
these
no,
situations.
this is a problem that we are facing now. It's not an India perspective. This is
Yeah,
everywhere in the world. That's why I did that symposium on indigenous peoples and mediation. This is an issue that everyone says, "Oh, we have mediation in our culture." There's that symposium, first one that I did, mediation in our culture and traditions, which of course I have to boast 97 speakers, 45 countries. Like this, I had to distinguish this. I had to tell people distinguish this. We can't say on generally that yes, in our culture we have mediation. There are people who have been taking decisions for people in
Yes.
communities, and
Yes.
that is something which is an issue. That is why people have had to go to courts,
Right.
because there was, I mean, what was the what was there a, I mean, in any case where they had a choice? Did they really have a choice? It was just a community. This is the person, whoever it could be, a chief, or it could be whatever word they were using for these people. It was just that little court of theirs. So
Right.
it was arbitrary. I mean, did you get a proper hearing or not? What was the whole situation? Were your social standing in the community? What
Hmm.
really happened that we don't know? So that is where why we have to distinguish that and only bring out those people who, yes, can suggest. Yes, the people respect their suggestion, but they don't impose. So that line which has to be very clearly understood,
Hmm.
that okay, those are the people who have the mediator mindset, are the ones
Hmm.
who can help them in whatever way. I mean, finding a
Hmm.
solution is a process that all of them are working together. And this person, maybe because of their experience or their knowledge or whatever their reasons are, I mean, it's a qualification, whatever way the people, why they trust them, it's up to their trust. But this person can actually guide you, but you are the person who finally has to take the decision of what that settlement is going to be. Has to be very clearly put out, because what you're saying about those people, they exist. And again, if by promoting the concept, we might just end up putting these people into the picture who actually take the decision, and now that settlement agreement will be as good as a court decree for them, which is where actually can it go against the process? Because now they say, oh, you brought this person in, this was your mediator. So I mean, now you've entered into a settlement agreement together. Now where is the challenge? So we have to be careful on that. That's a very, very fine line. Sometimes it's fine, maybe it's a very broad line, whatever it is, but this is an important part which needs to be put out
Yeah.
there.
Right.
Yes, yes, something more than that, Palak. No.
So I think no, I just feel that you know if I mean very in a very concrete way, if not going very much here and there, in a very concrete way, it's important right now to just identify some champions who, I mean, from a basic understanding, we feel that no, these people can be uh, good. They can act as ambassadors for the initial pilots or proof of concepts where what we are trying to bring on the ground. I mean, they can be a good demonstration for us.
Yeah, so I
So,
think what we can do is forget about, okay, the circle, creating the circle that can happen.
hmm,
What we can do is, in every school, or let's just look at one school. If just this one question: has there been anyone who has helped you resolve a fight with some friend of yours or anyone else?
hmm,
Has someone helped you? Someone tells
yeah,
you, yeah, this was, I had this fight and this person came in, and what did this person
right,
do? If
hmm,
the parents allow, record that little conversation. If they don't allow, we don't get into
hmm,
recording it. But
hmm,
that particular, whatever that experience was, can be put down on a little, it could
hmm,
be a piece of paper or whatever, note or
hmm,
whatever, or someone else can narrate it. Said, look,
hmm,
Palak went to the school and there was these children and they had this
hmm,
fight and this person came in and did this, did that, and the
hmm,
thing got resolved. You can also narrate it. Point
hmm,
is that these success stories need to be out there, which is what
understood.
we start there. That can be a
Hmm,
starting point. So now we're not, there's no kind of a, I mean, no structure which has been
hmm,
created right now. Right now is
got
just
it.
the little experience. Then, based on it, look, this has happened. Can we create a circle in your school
Hmm,
where
hmm,
these people are identified, and whoever wants to can actually come to them? So
hmm,
those names come out. We circulate. First of all, that little clip gets
okay.
circulated within the school itself, saying,
Hmm,
okay,
hmm,
these people had a fight. This person helped. Oh, I also had a fight. This person helped.
hmm,
What happened?
hmm,
All those, because these are things which are happening with people, right, with them
hmm, hmm,
personally, never comes out in public. All these
hmm, hmm,
conversations are always happening, someone is helping you, but that never comes out.
right,
These things will start coming out. So what, in that one school itself, let's start that conversation going.
right,
Just talk about it. Who are those people? What happened? Just,
right.
so name people also get identified.
Hmm,
What they
hmm,
did also gets identified, so we can distinguish between the mediator and the peacemaker also.
hmm, hmm,
So That one conversation. So one week, if you do that in one school and this little structure, then we are creating around it, because that structure is doing nothing else. No training. We are not doing any training. We are
Mm-hmm.
just saying that this is your show.
Mm-hmm.
Totally your show. Mediation is
Okay.
definitely your show. This is your show. You've got the people. Please use it. And for me, the World Mediation Circle, being these circles being part of that, is they
Right.
interact with people from around the world. These children who have
Mm-hmm.
the mindset in a school, say in one village in
Mm-hmm.
Madhya Pradesh, connect with someone sitting in Africa who has that mindset. When these people sit together, anyway, they will, and those conversations they will have, and their own experiences and all, when they talk about, they'll also feel part of a larger community, because that's what the whole
Right.
concept is. That when you said some people enjoy it, it's a way of
Mm-hmm.
life for them. When you said profession, this is another one of the discussions I had in one of the conferences. Mediation, is it a way of life or profession? Because yes, the profession part is very nicely tagged to it, but
Yeah.
what is a profession? First of all, it is certain standards and a certain training, which is
Yeah.
what I'm against. I'm totally against it. So I don't want it to be called a profession. So it's a way of life for some people, but can that way of life be made into a livelihood? Because we
Mm-hmm.
need these people out there. So that's why, like I said, in
Mm-hmm.
school, maybe it's a gift, but in
Hmm.
the community part of it, to create it as a livelihood, or at least part time. I'm not saying that
Okay.
someone gives up their job and sits there right now. Let it
Mm-hmm.
develop, but we should be working towards the people who have that mindset to be available
Okay.
to the community on a full time basis and
Right.
earning out of it. So,
Like I know a couple of like um at least in Bhopal, like some very reputed and actually, I mean, educationist, if I may say so, who have that connect in schools and who are working in on they are working on various fronts. So one is working in they have created a museum school. Basically, they bring the students from slum areas and they do their schooling in a museum.
okay.
So it and but they make it very like very holistic, not just syllabus and completion of course, but it's a very holistic kind of education that they offer them. And these children have actually gone on to do great things. I mean, they have had a very fantastic I don't know if we can call it a success rate, but yes, the children have really done outdid their own surroundings from where they came from, definitely. So whatever they were, they have done very very wonderfully after going to this museum school and had that experience of a community of other children. And so maybe getting in touch with these people can be an
Yeah,
interesting
let's
way
let's bring them
to,
into a conversation. Let's
yeah,
just
at
start
least
with
a
just,
conversation with them.
they'll
Yeah.
also give us their thoughts, because
Yes.
being on the ground, actually working with
Yes.
children, they'll tell us themselves how to take it forward. Let's
How
have
yeah.
that. Let's, because look,
Right.
I always, I mean, yesterday also I was having a conversation with some people. I like to shock people in terms of how many children there are in schools in India, because everyone wants to reach out to children, not
Yeah.
understanding the scale. Because I'll tell you about this, what that discussion was. But how many children are there in schools in India?
In India,
Yeah,
oh, there must be like what, 40, 50 crore. I don't know. I'm just, it's a wild guess.
I mean, they,
No,
you
no,
said,
not 40. I mean, 40 is too much. Sorry.
no, you're not so far away. It's 250
Yeah, but it's
million and
20,
25 crore,
30,
25 crores, 250
25. Oh, yeah.
million.
Yeah.
So we want to reach all those 250 million,
Mm-hmm.
because obviously, so how do we get there on scale? Because
Mm-hmm.
yes, this will be a model, one school, we do it, but has to be on scale. So this person has done, which is what we're going to launch that circle, created a
Mm-hmm.
game. Created a
Mm-hmm.
game. It's called, based in Italy. So this is what it's
Oh,
called. Medianos. Okay. So he's
Medianos.
created a game where he's created these cards. Okay. So basically what happens is that they actually go out to schools also and organizations also. So they've put it into certain steps. So they have these steps. Okay. So they have these cards. Okay. They have these cards. So first step,
Okay.
what do you do? Give a certain title. Whoever, okay, bring out
Mm-hmm.
two children that okay, you play the game. So first is just give this come kind of a topic. Then look at things from the other person's perspective. Think that you are the person. What kind of
Mm-hmm.
thoughts that person has. That person talks about this person. So, uh, kind of a stage wise. 10 cards they've developed there. And what kind of emotion are you feeling? So they have various cards for emotions. Of course, these are in Italian right now. Okay, if we translate that into English, but that kind of a approach where they can within themselves children play a game. So that's
Yeah.
one option of getting there. The
Mm-hmm.
other obviously is that you're identifying those children who are actually doing it. So that's an actual situation. This
Mm-hmm.
again, these are also actual situations. They ask these children if they want to talk about an actual situation.
Mm-hmm.
So that whole thing happens. So we're of course going to take this to the world, this game. The point is there are various ways to put it out there, but we have
Yeah.
to look at scale. My concept is very clear that we there are ways to reach out, and we have all the technology with us. Why not use it? So start small, start one school, one teacher, not an
Mm-hmm.
issue, but then how to scale it up
Definitely.
also.
Yeah, no, obviously we have to have a very scaled impact and
And it's not difficult. I don't think it's difficult. Palak, if he puts a mind to it, it will happen.
yeah.
But now that she has other things to do, which she has moved into, how will she get time or not?
No, no, I'll bite away my time. Don't worry about it. I have got a fair idea of how, what the vision is, and of course, I have certain things in my mind how at least on a like a prototype level, at least we can unfold it in Madhya Pradesh at least, because at
Yeah.
least there I know a couple of people who are working with children, and they're doing great work. So I think, I mean, when we speak, we probably at least on from my end, maybe I don't have that one on one with like children, so I don't know enough to make some certain assertions. But maybe if we have them on board, their opinions would have more value, especially when we are talking about children and mediator mindset, because they
Yeah.
are using storytelling and they're using so many things to reach out to these kids, not for this particular area but for so many other things. There's so many other learnings that they are delivering through these different kind of skills and activities. So maybe we can utilize that, understand that, and see if we can deliver our messaging to the kids through these existing
Yeah.
activities that they are doing, or they can
Yeah.
create something new for us listening to our
Exactly.
vision. Maybe they can think of something way better than what we are having in our heads right now.
And
So
again, for them also to give them the larger picture that how
right,
these children also will benefit from being part of
exactly, because
this
next time
circle.
when they go to children, probably they go with a different kind of a mindset. They think about these lines of thoughts also when they are discussing it with children, maybe
So what I've
that
done
kind
is on
of.
the 26th, I'm launching various mediation circles. Okay,
Okay.
so a lot of
Yeah.
launches are happening this month itself. There was a refugee mediation circle we just did,
Mm-hmm.
and then there is the organizational mediation circle
Mm-hmm.
coming up on the 16th, family on the
Mm-hmm.
18th, and then we have this Medianos, this one that I game that I told you,
Right.
taking that forward. Then we have on the 26th we have the World School Mediation
Okay.
and college mediation circle. So
All right.
Ken Cloak, of course, is going to launch it. So it's always nice to listen to his words of wisdom for sure. So maybe if you want, I mean, of course, you participate in that. Someone else wants to
Yes,
come
yes,
in,
definitely. I'll do that.
but
So
largely,
that
of course, yeah, yeah. So let them at least listen to a person
yeah,
like Ken Cloak also to know that yes, there is thought on
right,
that end.
right.
What's that larger vision also is. This also, what I'll do is this clip I'll upload it on the YouTube channel, and I'll send you the link, and then though that can be, I mean, so
Sure.
that you don't have to repeat the entire thing to everyone. So
Yes.
okay, we've had this discussion on, let's call it the school mediation circle. We had a discussion on that,
Yeah.
and of course, the launch is happening on the 26th. They can be part of that also. But at least then we can have another session where they then further bring their thoughts so that in the next session, we don't have to repeat all this, what we've
Right.
discussed. So
Right.
that way, one basic
Yeah.
communication is
That
out
seems
there.
very
Yeah.
fair. Yeah.
So let's do that. Let's put it out. I'll put it out right
Sure.
now. Right now, I should have actually put it out live. We could have put it out live, but doesn't matter. I said let's not
Yeah.
put Palak into a spot right then. Here he's talking about recording it. Now he's talking about going straight live. But I'll tell you why it's important. Because of the fact that these conversations that we're having, very important conversations.
Mm.
And for us to keep repeating it to people, it's your time, my time. Rather, we would then look at stage two rather than this
Yes,
we stuck there.
exactly.
So that's why
Exactly.
I like all these conversations. I like to put out there, which of course are
Exactly.
part of my
Yeah.
events, but because this conversation happened, so we did it right now. Otherwise, if you had thought about it earlier, we also did not know where this conversation is going.
Exactly. There was nothing in my mind. I mean, what we are going to discuss, what it is going to
What
be.
we were
But
going to
I think
discuss is that,
we have had
yeah,
some
got
really
it.
interesting
So
conversation here,
what is going
and
to
I've
happen is,
got some leads in my mind. Maybe
well, you've
we
got the
reach
concept. You've
somewhere.
got the concept. You've got the concept. Now what you have to do is a little. Now you should have started with it. Little bit about yourself. Put that in there.
Are you gonna edit the video like?
No, no, nothing. It's going to. It
Oh.
doesn't matter. People who are interested will look at see the whole thing.
Hmm.
They should know about you also because it's a good thing to put it
So
down.
I am Palak Jain, and uh, I wish to believe that I have a mediator's mindset that we are so talking about. Like every time I have a conversation with Vikramji, we talk about mediator's mindset. So I wish to have one if I don't have it right now, but I am striving for it. So currently, I'm working with National Company Law Tribunal as an assistant registrar. And prior to that, I was working with Pramal Foundation, and I was working with school education department. So throughout my like professional life journey, and I have looked towards how I can improve the access to justice. Uh, it has come in very different ways, packages, but my goal whenever I enter a role has been one that how I can play my role in improving the access to justice. If there is a even a tiniest role I can play, I would love to do that. And mediation has come as a wonderful tool to me, uh, to just help me out in this vision that I have. So I'm trying to just be contribute as much as I can on the
No, but
ground.
the work that you've done with the Madhya Pradesh Education Department, you should
So
talk
yeah,
about that. That's important. Yeah.
so when I was working with Pramal Foundation, we were working on a project with School Education Department, and the project is of course still going on, where the department, being a very litigious one, we were trying to resolve this issue of how we can mitigate the litigation. So the litigation mitigation was our first thought. Okay, there are just so many cases, how to reduce it. But slowly and with time, we realize that that's just not enough, and that's not going to happen with the way the culture in the system is. Saying that litigation will we will end litigation is not something that we would want to strive anymore. Rather, the idea should be how to improve the processes in the system, how to make the leadership in the system have a more mediation that mediator mindset that we are talking about, how they should have that mediator mindset, how they should value the idea of mediation in everything that they do, not just court cases or just complaints, but in everything that they do, how they can bring mediator mindset. So this is now the purpose has become larger than we started with, which it was just a simple court reduction exercise
But what you have
initially.
to, we have to also shock people by telling them the numbers. What to kind of litigation happens in one education department in one state in India. We have lots of
In one
states.
state.
One
So in
state, you're
one
talking about
state,
10 million matters.
10,
One,
10
one
million matters.
you said 1
No,
crore, you said?
no, 1 crore is the children in
Okay, 1
the
crore is a children. Okay,
system.
okay, yeah, that
And there
was
are
in,
around 10 lakh, that's 1 million, right? 1 million teachers.
okay.
And then there are headmasters. So that's the level of workforce we are dealing with and the problems associated with them.
How many matters would
So
there be coming out of that? How many matters?
around, sorry,
How many matters go in terms of into the courts out
average
of that?
annually we see 12,000, 10,000
And
cases
and how many
pending.
how many okay, so today, say if you look at today, how many pending?
If
How many?
any day if you open and see the pendency, it will be somewhere between 10 to 12, 10 to 12. It will
10 to 12,000 in
on
one
a good
department.
day it is 9 to 10, on a bad day it can be 12 also.
So one department in a state. can have that kind of
Just
pending
one
litigation.
department.
One pending. Once. Okay. So that's the scale we're talking about. But
That's the, yeah, and that's all high court. I mean, high court, honorable high court is clogged with cases of one department, and
yeah,
there are so many others.
they're
When we
honorable.
see the
Are they?
cause list, 50% is this just the state versus the state versus the state.
But how
50% of the cause
honorable? I
list.
will say, keep saying honorable. How honorable is it to be able to be able to get away with this honorable aspect of it, of actually keeping
That's a
people in
question
courts
the
for 20
honorable
years?
court should.
That's a big issue. Okay, well, don't get me started there. That's a whole big, basically a whole discussion there. But I think this
Yeah.
is by itself, of course, important enough. So let's get that going. What we're going to do is, whenever you have time, we'll also record this in Hindi, and let's send it out in Hindi also, so that
Yes,
at
yes.
least we can reach a larger number of. Look, we don't know who gets motivated.
Right.
Even I'm saying, even that one teacher listens to it and says, "Oh, I this is what I really want to do," and comes into the fold. That's what we need. We want people
No,
to.
I
So
think messaging in Hindi is very important.
yeah,
At least we are not able to reach out a big chunk of population which is actually doing a lot of mediation work on ground, but they just
exactly.
don't know.
No, no,
उन्हें
we
पता
want to
ही
do that.
नहीं है मतलब
So we'll have one.
कि
We'll record it separately. We'll do a Hindi
yes.
version of this. So at this, what let's do. Let's stop this recording. Anything else that you want to put out in this recording? Anything else that needs to message? Look, the point, like I said, is this is a way of sending out a messaging so that we don't have to keep repeating it to people. So anything else important as part of this whole structure or whatever you feel needs to be communicated?
I think I've said enough. I
Anything on
don't.
anything on all these NGOs and all that are working on the ground? Can
Yeah,
how
okay.
do we? Yeah,
I mean, see, what happens is every time the ministry or something new, brand new comes up, there are just so many NGOs who help in the last mile delivery of parts of it. And education, for that matter, is a sector where a lot of NGOs are working, and they are doing tremendously good work. Tremendously good work. They have a very good reach in terms of children, in terms of teachers. And I think, as you said, I think initially we are only focused on the rights based work, and unfortunately in India even that has not percolated in a way that we wanted to. I mean, it's a very, again, in a very off and on and off mode. So what I feel is, what you are suggesting, the interest based education that should go to the students is, I think it can very well balance out with the right based education. Solely giving them just rights based education, I don't think it will have that kind of an impact. It becomes more of an information dissemination exercise, good for a checklist, but we are unable to gauge the impact of it. What is happening? Is it actually translating into something? Are they able to use it actually in real life stories or in real life cases? So I think that with the idea of having mediation, or people with mediator mindset, we can actually understand whether this right based education is actually helping them. Because whenever they are dealing with these kind of interest, they definitely have to use their education about their rights, about equality. Simple situations require that kind of mature understanding of justice, of fairness. And although it is inculcated in us, but the principles are not very well understood by people. So I think these two can go very well hand in hand. So already the NGOs are working on rights based, giving them understanding of cyber rights, on of child rights, and all of that they are giving. But if children are not able to exercise it, then it's a waste. So we have to tell these NGOs and the agencies that are working, that how it can be of a very good, it can be a good catch for their rights based education
yeah,
also, to actually get delivered in a
yeah.
very beautiful way.
What's going to happen is that if you actually create a model in one school also, they can pick up from there and then say, okay, we want to take this further into other places, because that last minute, of course, last mile delivery has to happen by people.
Yes.
Of course, we are going to look at technology, how technology can help us reach people. But the only thing is that when you said access to justice, one thing that we need to discuss maybe as a topic, that is mediation access to justice? Because
Is
I have my issues with that. That this is being created by the judiciary. This entire interpretation that mediation
Hmm.
is access to justice. I think it's just one of those things that the way of getting out of what work they're supposed to do. Am I sit with someone in my living room and I resolve something? Suddenly I've got access to justice. I mean, it's a crazy thoughts that they come up with. But
Right.
forget that. So we won't get into waste our energy on that part of things. But at least we have these NGOs or whatever working on the
Yes.
ground, and they want to do good things there. How do we involve them? We'll
Yes,
have to have a
because
look.
I think right now their idea of delivering right-based education or any sort of child education is, giving sessions, and it's a simple way. Okay, we gave session and 1,500 head count covered. So that is how we are measuring the impact or monitoring the impact. But is it really impact, or is it
Exactly.
really? Uh, so
No,
we
this
don't
is.
know that
Well, I'll tell
how
you.
it is translating actually.
This game that we're talking about, I'll sit with you. We'll translate this into Hindi also. We'll debate it. But there's
Yes.
this person who developed this game says, of course, this has only happened in Italy up till now. So he said, went to a school and they played this, and one child who played that game, he says, I thought you've come here and some questions you'll ask me and I will give you some answers, and you'll come and teach me something. But here I
Right.
got involved, you made me play something. I
Yes.
felt like an adult actually with all this conversation and everything that happened, and that's what they took back. So it's about
Right.
people. Why am I wanting to also push this game is because I want people to experience resolution. Once you
Exactly.
experience it,
Exactly.
what you take back from it, that is what is useful. So this way at least there is a certain pattern that he's taken out. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, the point is that finally we won't be able to, and when you start off
Mm-hmm.
identifying those people will happen, everything will happen, but at least this option can be sent out to them that okay,
Mm-hmm.
you can play a game, and all this we can do on a soft copy basis. So we'll have
Yes.
those soft copies available, all the steps are there, how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the his idea has been, and how he's gone about it is in a way trained facilitators on
Mm.
the told them about the game basically, and they further have sessions in various parts of Italy, and they get people together. So they go into schools, into organizations, and have sessions. So there also it's up to them if they charge for those sessions or not. So that's
Yeah.
left to them. But the point is that people experiencing resolution is what we want to do. So one
Yes.
is what has already happened, that we'll record
Mm-hmm.
those, and then we'll find ways. We'll discuss this game because this one we're launching on the 24th. Because the idea is these Medianos International Circle. So let's bring people
Mm-hmm.
from everywhere,
Okay.
and then they further take it into their countries or whatever. So we'll discuss this separately. So that's the larger topic done. We'll of course have a
Yeah.
conversation, the Hindi one also. So at this point of
Definitely.
time, we should stop the recording. So thank you very much, Palak. We have to do that formal
Thank
one
you so much,
also.
Vikram. As
Always
always,
a
a
pleasure
pleasure.
speaking to you, and some good things come out of these conversations. That's the good part. So,
So excited to, just take it forward. And I will definitely do that. Let me know the sessions that are happening, especially on the school mediation. And I'll and this recording as well. So I'll just forward it to some select few people that I feel that they are the right people to go at least at this point. And
start the process. Yeah. So thank you very much.
yeah,
Let me
okay.
just stop the recording. Yes.